Hey, welcome to the stream, everybody. Sorry, I didn't have my screen up. I couldn't see you. We're going to try to do some more trade runs today. A couple in the Freelancer Max. Right now, we're making about 3K a run. We can do it round trip in 10 minutes, which isn't too bad. We'll do some math. Maybe I can get Ravi around here to give me his input about what he thinks the best run for the Max is. Let's just get a move on. Alright, we're going to retrieve my saber in case we need it another time. Okay.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
Why, thank you. BO2. Eh? Oh man, I still have a tumbrel in there. Gonna have to make that move. Please don't explode my ship before I get there. Oh. Well, I guess that's a way you can spawn two ships.
Warning, you are blocking an active flight lane. Please vacate the vicinity.
Yeah.
Initiating ship storage procedure.
Oh, shut up.
For your safety, please vacate the area. Thank you for your cooperation.
Open. Gotcha. Alright, let's get out of here before they take my ship back. Lift off.
Systems on.
Up.
Sequence complete.
There we go. There we go. Goodbye, little tumbrel. Enjoy being at Port Olisar, I guess. Oh man, I have to refuel my hydrogen. Could have done that while I was landed.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Which landing base shall that be? And hello? Oh man, come on, down. Alright. My ship is pulling up. I don't like that.
Front collision. Autoland on. Landing successful.
Now we got
Landing
repair.
complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Oh, hydrogen's cheap. While that happens, all right, there we go. Let's go.
Launch sequence complete.
Lifting off again.
Landing gear up. Quantum travel.
Well, this is obnoxious. Why is my joystick doing that?
Quantum travel complete.
Thank you, Splines. No, I don't like that. Maybe if I unplug and replug it, but that might be a giant mistake. There we go. Fixed it. Alright, I don't want to start at Deacons. I'm going to end at Deacons area 157. There we go.
Quantum travel engaged. Contact received.
In the dark with a ship with no headlights. I like it.
Quantum travel complete.
This bug's fun. Deacons. Deacons. Oh, there we go. Parkour. Full speed ahead. Hey, bud. Oh, not there.
How's it going?
Oh, there you are. Yeah, it's going. Yourself? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Ah, my whole ship is spinning. I heard about your unfortunate luck yesterday.
Oh my god. So it's stored. So you can't, obviously you can't,
You can't spawn it there.
yeah. 76,000 UEC. Gone. Like
And
that.
you're still 20k in debt, aren't you?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I was, talking to Trash Panda. Or, I was watching Trash Panda's stream and I told him about my situation. He said, dude, don't even worry about it because we're having a server reset on Monday or Tuesday.
So that he's making the assumption that 3.4.2 is going to reset, and
Yep.
we don't know that yet. Probably it will, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But that's you know, we don't know. Nobody knows.
That is a lot of snow. How much snow did you guys get? How many inches?
It's looking like 4 right now. We're supposed to get maybe 2 more.
Oh wow.
So not too bad.
Yeah, it's 67 degrees down here.
Well, that's Florida for you.
But at least we got a break this year, man. The past 2 years. Man.
Yeah, getting walled by hurricanes.
Oh my god.
I'll take snow over hurricanes.
Yeah, and I'm across the street from the beach, so it's like board everything up, say your prayers, and evacuate.
Yep, man.
So are you live right now?
I am.
Oh right.
I know. So Rav yesterday mentioned that there was a better trade run to do with the Freelancer Max, but I don't know what that trade run is. So I'm just doing the one we were doing yesterday. It was still netting me like 3 or 4K a haul, so that's not too bad.
Oh, yeah, so it was the same bug. So I landed on the pad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't completely on the pad. I think my nose was off. So I get out of the pilot seat. I end up dying. I respawn at Alisar. I call a ship. And it
Hannibal,
says...
just subscribed. Hey, buddy, thanks.
I thought I subscribed earlier, man. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So I, you know, you know, in the kiosk, I see the ship being stored at Deacon's, and I'm like, if you can't call a ship from Deacon's, how is it stored there? And I was like, oh, there's another bug.
Yeah, that is a thing. Oh man, it's so hard to do in the dark. You said the red pole signifies the one with the trading in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And especially at night, what I do, F4, do third person view.
Well, it's not that. It's I don't have headlights.
Deck collision. Landing success.
So,
The Freelancer doesn't have headlights?
it's broken right now. Why am I sideways? That's weird. Up. Rotate. Other way. And
Do you have landing gear?
I do.
Okay, yeah, you do.
Just
Get a little bit of...
Oh, there we go. I think that works.
Oh, because you're...
I'm still sideways.
Get a little bit of a gangster lean right there.
Yeah, right? Whoa, whoa,
There
whoa.
you go.
Why am I flying so far away? Stop.
Deck collision.
I did not do that. Stupid. Oh, no, 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 no. You're doing it again. This Freelancer is whacked out. Land. Why are you landing tilted? Stop it. I'm on a hill?
Well-
I guess I'm on some sort of hill.
Yeah,
Oh. What are you gonna do?
I like that snow citizen.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, gotta keep up with the local events. Do. I wonder if you were gonna. So the landing pad or the landing ramp behind the Freelancer is pretty hefty. I wonder if you were flying towards a planet too fast and your landing gear hit and so did that pad, if that landing ramp would save you from being blown up because it's so freaking tough. I don't know. This was not the right building. Building, where are you? Maybe that's you over there.
Yeah, you want to look for the big orange antenna.
There was a big orange thing right there. But I guess not. Oh well, there's nobody else here. No big rush. So how long did it take you to get back to the pad to get to your cat? Because
So what I did was I hopped in another ship. I hopped in a Cutlass.
oh yeah, that's what I would do.
Hightailed it down there. And the game bugged.
Hmm.
I see the ship, the game bugged.
You see the ship, the game bugged. What do you mean? You crashed?
Yeah, the game crashed.
Hmm.
I wake up at Alisar.
Weird.
Yeah, then it's stored. I'm like, what the hell? So basically, the game bugged on me twice.
Gotcha.
And I lose 76 UEC. 76,000 UEC.
76 doesn't sound like too much.
Yeah, I wish it was that.
Well, time to dust yourself off.
Yeah.
Probably your best bet right now is to do some of the combat missions.
Yeah. I was freaking out. I saw Trash Panda on stream, and I'm like, hey, he's like, you really don't want. He's like, you really can't do anything about it.
No, not right now. Certainly not. I mean, it's frustrating for sure, but I mean that's alpha, so it's just what the nature of the beast is.
Complete.
If I had
Landing
if I had someone else with me, that other person could have jumped in the cat.
Yeah, like
Kept
when
it
I got
from-
killed by the freelancer's ladder, I told Rav to get into my ship so that it wouldn't despawn.
Oh my god, the same thing happened to Fennec the other night.
Yeah, I'm not using that ladder anymore. I was using it because the ramp is so buggy right now with the freelancer. It's hard to close, and I didn't want to have my ship open all the time, so I didn't get assassinated. But I am not using the ladder anymore because that's dangerous as crap, especially riding solo. $17,000. It is convenient that Yella's atmosphere is only 30K. That's really easy to get out of.
So is that valid information? We be expecting a server reset in the next couple days.
Not every patch has involved a reset, so it's likely, but that's at best, as with most things in Star Citizen, an educated guess. Unless it's been confirmed, I haven't checked social media or anything that Board Gamer's saying, and I would take it with a
Grain of salt.
Yeah, with a grain of salt either way. I'm certainly not going to go toe to toe with somebody saying that there's going to be no reset, because that would be, folly at best.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be. I mean, so I remember last October, November,
travel complete.
day one of the patch, I filled up my, it was like patch 3.3, I think. I filled up my, at the time, 600i. And what the heck, where'd my waypoint go? Sorry, hold on. I gotta figure out where I'm going here. I filled up my 600i, flew by Levski. And the gravity around Levski is really weird. And I was trying to... Basically what happened was I got into the planetary's sphere of influence and could not arrest my fall. My ship just was careening into the planet. I tried everything. How you lose control of your ship at the end of Quantum? Basically that was happening, and I was just falling and falling, and I turned the engines off, turned the engines on, and eventually I just ran out of time and smashed into the planet, lost all my cargo and all my money day one of the patch. And I was like, well, I guess I'll wait till next patch. Deacons, there we go, finally. Jesus. Oh, why are we not boosting? Boost! You could, I heard there's actually pretty decent money being offered decent money being made by offering transportation services to players. Sorry for opening the mic.
Yeah, so you just sit around in Olisar and with a multi-crew ship.
Or Lorville. Nobody likes getting in and out of Lorville. That's a pain.
Did you see Ravier's message in Discord?
I did.
Okay.
Once I get this sale done, I will do that and find out what my next best. Why am I still going down? Up, strafe up, please. Okay, we're good. What the heck? That was close. The ship's acting very heavy today. Yesterday it was pretty nimble. I don't know what the deal is. It spawned my saved ship from yesterday for sure because I had 30% hydrogen left when I spawned. I was like, oh man, I gotta fill that.
Does
Collision. Deck collision.
I wonder if they're gonna
Starboard collision.
put that in there in the game.
What?
Forced collision.
Different cargo has different weights.
Landing gear down.
Different weights of different cargoes.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Landing successful.
Landing successful. Thank you, computer. Alright, routes manager. Could not load ship. Bug. Let's get this sold and then figure out. Da 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 da. So much cargo. Doop doop doop.
Looks like your camera cut out again.
Ah, yeah. Thank you. I have a nice mirrorless. Basically, it's a DSLR camera, and the only bad thing about it is it does that. Times out. And I don't know why. I thought I set the timeout to not happen. And it's like, you know what? You could use a timeout. So, I don't know what the deal is. Yay, 44. Alright, let us go to Rav's website here. So, Gallog, trade routes. It just says could not load ship.
Hey, nice. Got some. So you got a nice balance up there, man.
Yeah, I started at 27 yesterday. It always helps to, have a few hours to get on. All right. Right now I'm on Deacons. I don't really. Actually, you know what? Just tell me where to go, buddy. Exclude commodity stems, right? That's what he said. Yeah, calculate.
Well, I'm gonna ghost here for a bit and drink my coffee. But I
Sure,
got
man.
your stream on.
Enjoy.
I'll be right back.
2,800 to go to. Oh boy. Well, that's silly. So what this says is I could buy these and have been making money on the trip back. Wow. Oh man, I could have been doubling my. Well, this run's totally worth it then.
Rear collision. Launch sequence complete. Landing gear up.
Alright, full speed ahead. Always feels a little weird with the cargo bay open. We're going to 157. Set route. Once we get out of... oh, what? Must have bumped something. Once we get out of atmosphere, we should be good. There we go. Do I still have those guns? Yes, I do. Those are good guns. Do 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 do.
Quantum travel engaged.
Oh, we're in the daytime this time.
Quantum travel complete.
I'm not doing that. Oh, come on. Hold on. Camera's being a pain. There we go. Sorry about that. R-Corp. That's too far. Beacons. Do one of these red ones. There. Jeez. Oh my goodness, stop the calibration already. Kilometers. We need to start slowing down around 10, 15.
Hydrogen fuel at 75%.
Yep, it is. $18, 17, 15. Now let's slow down to a reasonable speed. Zero out. All right.
Landing gear down.
The one with the tower. There it is. We'll pass by the platform and just land right in front of it.
Front collision. Caution. Front collision.
There we go. All good. Ah. Just at the end, huh? Hey, would you look at that? You can make money on the way back. Oh, I feel like a dummy. I was leaving money on the table yesterday. That's unfortunate. But now we know. I can basically double my profit.
Landing gear up.
All right. This is a good run. Short and sweet. Oh, we're in space.
Quantum travel engaged.
Coffee.
Nice.
Yes.
So, we were leaving money on the table yesterday. Apparently, you can buy medical supplies at Deacon's and sell it at Area 157.
Oh wow. So that
That's another, for me, 2,700 UEC on the return run.
Complete.
And I can't afford a full haul worth of medical supplies because they're expensive. So every time we did a full loop yesterday, we could have been making a little bit more money than we were.
a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more.
Well, I am going to see. I'm gonna jump in.
Sure.
All right. That was an awesome session yesterday, by the way, man.
Yeah, it
That
was.
that was some fun.
Yeah, I don't usually stay on that long because, you know, as I said, it's hard to do it as a solo player.
hmm So what I'm going to do is just do small missions to get up some capital, and then
Yeah, that's what I would probably recommend.
yeah.
Also, one thing of note. So I've been sitting here in the freelancer max, right? And as far as cargo capacity to size of ship, I don't think you can beat it. It's not buggy. it's not delicate like the cat is, where like you have to go through all these intricate doors and walls and stuff to get in
Ooh.
and out of. Like, it's just a solid ship. If you want, I don't know, how does this work? Do you know? If I spawn another freelancer for you to use, can you fill it up with cargo, or is it because it's my ship you can't?
I'm joining your server. Let's give that a try.
Sure. Let me just finish this cell here.
Um,
Come on, buddy. Slow down. There we go. All right, let's land in the right spot this time, because last time I did.
oh, your server is full.
Oh. All right. Well, that's manageable. Just give me a second here to sell things, and then I can. We can do
Mazda.
another EU one if you want.
Okay, Mazda is in game.
Mazda.
His server, MOSTA Mazda 69.
Sure. If you want
The
to reach out to him, is he a guild member or what is he?
yeah, he's a Gallog member. He's an Aussie. He's in Australia, so he may be on the Australia server.
Well, that's
I'm
fine.
gonna
Yeah, reach
I'm
out
gonna-
to him, and then if he wants to party up, we can party up and play. I can do these trade runs anytime. Oh, now I'm almost at 50K. Sweet.
I'm gonna check to see if he's streaming real quick.
Sure.
He's a Twitch streamer.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, I do raise some eyebrows being at YouTube. So I totally understand if people are like, when I say streaming, they're like, I don't find you on Twitch. Although you can find me on Twitch just because, oh, can I sell something at Olisar? Hold on, let me double check to make sure. Olis port. I want to go to Port Olisar. Nothing. I could have just taken this cargo run to Olisar. Whoops. Oh well. So what I'll do is I'll go to Olisar, I'll land, I'll log out, and we can try to get on the same server.
Front collision. Launch sequence complete.
Oh, okay.
Hmm?
Oh, Mazda's about to get off. He's it's hey.
Pretty late there. Isn't it?
Yeah.
For Maz?
Hey, Rav.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like two streaming here. Like back and forth. Trying to help Maz
Rob-
out.
Ravi, I lost everything again last night.
I know, but Phil was saying we were chatting about that. You got stored.
Yeah, so same bug, where I land on the pad at Deacons, and I guess I wasn't entirely on the pad, and I get out of the pilot seat, and I start losing health and ended up dying. I respawn at Alisar. I hop in another ship. I beeline it to Deacons. I get there. I see my ship. The game bugs out. I respawn again at Alisar. I check at the kiosk, and now the ship is stored at Deacon's, but you can't call any ship at Deacon's.
Nope. And you want to know the really bad part,
Yes.
which happened to
we
me?
do.
I had
the
three.
viewers want to know.
Oh, I had 320,000 in.
Oh.
What was it? And it ended up getting stored. I think I was doing titanium, or tungsten. It might have been tungsten or titanium, one or the other. But you could spawn it into your hangar. So although the ship was gone and you'll never be able to sell the cargo, you can get loaded into your hangar, open up all the bays, and you can sit there and cry.
I didn't realize the hangar module tied cargo into it.
Well, whatever was physically in the object container of your ship will load into the hangar as well.
Because you can adjust your loadout. Right.
Yep. So, for example, if I go scoop up a freelancer or I go scoop up an Aurora in my Caterpillar, I can land and log out, go into the hangar, and it'll load that ship into my hangar. It probably won't be associated with an owner. It'll probably be just like within your ship there is this other ship, and it just loads it, right?
And then the police show up. Why?
Oh, Ravi, I start my cybersecurity classes on Monday or tomorrow.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's the first class in that module. Go ahead.
I'm a cybersecurity software engineer. It's what I do for a living.
Oh, really?
Yep.
My bachelor's degree is in IT and programming.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I'm still in school, but that's what my degree program is. And
I wonder how thorough they'll be.
It's basically Linux. I guess it's a Linux-based class.
Oh,
so
boy. A lot of people shooting around here at OSR. Got to get into the neutral space.
I'm gonna make an assumption you're gonna be learning like Nmap and basic port scanning and kind of like some firewall software, how IP tables works, and
maybe some
cargo is gone on that ship.
Yep, showing some Wireshark.
All right, so let me contact OSR, then I will log off, and we can all try to get on the same server.
I'm in the EU server.
All right, I'll just join yours once I get down on the ground here.
Oh, Phil, tell Ravi about the
Oh, the money left on the table, right?
Yeah.
So Rav, yesterday, we weren't doing a full trade run. We were only doing one way, right?
Yep.
Well, I looked at your routes calculator. Every run we could have been buying medical supplies at Deacon's and selling it at 157 for at least for me more money than I could afford to fill with.
Landing complete.
So I literally was leaving money on the table every time we went back yesterday.
You weren't though, because I talked about it a little tiny bit. The demand for medical supplies and Arcorp mining is so low that you'd be sitting there for like maybe 20 minutes trying to sell it all, like 2 or 3 units at a time.
What do you mean? I was able to sell the whole cargo load the last run I did.
No issues at all. I just took the
None.
medical
It
supplies.
just sold.
Nice. You know what would be great to test to see if there's a limit. Maybe per 5 minutes framework or for 5 minutes of time, it wants 1,000 units, and then once that 1,000 units is satisfied, maybe then it's going to be really, really, really slow. I'm trying to figure out what that demand is, because there's been many times where I've brought medical supplies to Arcorp mining, just take a couple with me, and it's not taking it. Maybe because someone else is running medical supplies, because the demand for medical supplies itself should kind of be low-ish. You know what I mean?
Not that many people are dying,
Yeah, exactly. But I'm wondering what that rate is, and if we could probably try to figure that out, that'd be cool. You know what I mean? Because maybe there is that kind of maybe there's enough time in the run to increase that demand by 100 to 200 units, and then you know what I mean. Like there is a nice amount that we can continuously run without kind of bulking it up. So I guess the risk would be continuously buying a full load of whatever you can until you reach that, nope, we don't want it, and try to figure out how much that was that they now no longer want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hannibal, your server is full.
Copy that. I'm leaving the server.
I'm going to invite you to party.
Copy that.
You don't have to leave server directly yet. If I spawn into a server here, it'll give you an option to join with me. I think so.
I'm joining with you right now.
I'm not in a server.
I joined your party.
Oh, okay. So when I click visit location here in a second, it'll prompt you, do you want to go visit it with him? And you just say yes. I'm going to hit Europe this time again. It seemed to work well for us yesterday. And it was kind of fun watching the people speak French in the chat.
Ravi, did you have snowfall like
No.
Phil over here?
It's pretty good here.
I was just telling Phil. It is a sunny 67 degrees down here. Actually, I take that back. It is now 70 degrees.
Oh my goodness gracious. You've gone from like perfect to way too hot.
No, way too hot.
You must be miserable.
Way too hot is, I would say 90 and above.
Ugh, yeah, and humid. Humid's really what decides it for me.
Oh, God.
Hey, so Rav, if I spawn a freelancer normal and let Hannibal take it. Oh, Hannibal's in my server now. Can he fill it with cargo and use it as if it were his normal ship?
No, you'd have to do that for him, but it would work.
He could fly it, but he just can't use.
Yeah. Oh.
He can't do the cargo.
And
so like,
hold on for a second. Sorry to interrupt, guys. So if you're doing cargo runs, you can run 2 full ships, and all the money will go into your account. Is that correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Oh.
So, realistically, if you had 2 cats, you could spawn 2 cats, one after the other, making sure one is well off the pad so it doesn't despawn the original ship.
Mm-hmm.
You could spawn 2 cats, give it the 2 party members. You could then take something quick so you can race your own crew, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you could actually be waiting at the trade terminal
when they land.
As the cats are coming down. Not only is that effective and kind of cheesy right now, the radius around the trade port for selling is around 200 meters. So the land. They don't have the land. We've done it before where the cats were pretty much coming down and turning around and just slowing down with its own thrust to 0, and it's pretty much starting to gain momentum as the ship is full.
That's cool. I like that.
Right? Like comm stab, 180, burn,
Yeah.
Go. Go. And we've made a race of it, So what I generally would have someone do is someone would shuttle me around in the Herald, because it's the fastest one for kind of just, for moving. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I would just fly ahead of my ship. And for some of the runs we were doing to Olisar, like the titanium to Olisar, or tungsten to Olisar, I don't remember now. Olisar takes a long time to get out and kind of run in. Yeah, you don't have to go down to the atmosphere, but you still have to run into the station. So, using that method, you could just kind of have someone drop you off right next to the door, you know what I mean? And just jump out, get in there. Caterpillar's coming in for landing. Now, the cat does need to do a landing clearance and does need the touchdown, but as soon as it's touched down, you'll see the cat visible in your drop-down list on the trade terminal, and it's like, bam, sold, let's go.
Oh, that is so excellent, because getting out of your ship and going to the trade console is like the single most paranoia I have during trade runs. Opening it up, exposing yourself to people who want to kill you,
and then your money is not directly tied to the ship per se, only in the assets that are on it. You know what I mean? Like once the money's made, the money's made, and it's easier than to transfer out money that's owed to the crew that are doing the operation afterwards. When you know what I mean? When you're making these transactions quicker. Yeah. So if a Deacon's run was 10 minutes, which is what it was before on my stream when I was timing it, then adding one more person to the mix can shave off probably 3 minutes of that run.
Oh, wow.
Almost up to 4 minutes, because take how many seconds it's actually taking to kind of get out of your ship, get down, run over, especially on the Deacon side when you're not landing on the closest pad, where you're kind of running to the middle of the map. You know what I mean? Loading back up again, then coming all the way back. I'm not actually sure the percentage of the 10 minutes is actually spent like traversing the pad, but it could very well be up until the 3-minute mark, the 4-minute mark.
I believe it.
That means you're pretty much gonna spend around 3 minutes in atmosphere, probably both ways, and that's it. That's your only time.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, there are so many like this is such a staple transportation problem. Japan has been playing. So Japan and their trains, right? They've been playing with methods to not have a train stop at a station. So they want to have an intra-stop train car that picks people up at a station, and then that car will speed up and then meet the train while the train is still moving. The people would then transfer onto the train, and then the train would never actually have to stop. It would just have these cars that would detach from it, go to a station, and then the next time a train's coming by, it would, come out of the station and reattach and transfer people. And that's basically what you're facilitating, that the ships never have to stop, which is just so cool.
And I think that ties into the, potential manual loading and unloading of some of these ships with the Caterpillar itself. Once that command module is detachable, all you have to do is drop it off, and the crew that are with that cargo can run and do the sail while your command module is literally running to the next location to pick up something.
The command, I forgot the cat had that detachable command module.
Right? Or there could be 2 cats landed, and you just kind of, as soon as you land with one, you detach and you go over and attach to the other command, the other cargo module of the other one, and you take it's full, and then you kind of take it off. You know what I mean? And then your crew then, with the 2 other people in that ship, can spend the time unloading one and then loading the other. You know what I mean? And there's always movement. And the goal of the org really is to optimize and capitalize on finding ways to make the stuff faster. And it's not like we're trying to game the system, or we're trying to it's really kind of solving the same problems in real life, and just using the game as kind of a test bed. It's how do we get this product from A to B as fast as possible? What is our fastest route? And there's a lot of people that would frown upon, you're not using in-game mechanics to do this.
Oh. Whoa.
Don't do that.
So my joystick... Sorry to interrupt. That was a little shocking. My joystick has a timer functionality, and I was going to time how long this trade run took me, and I pressed start, and it said self-destruct initialized. I was like, that button's apparently mapped to self-destruct. What a horrible idea. Sorry to...
and Phil, I found you on the Facebook.
You found my Facebook? Yeah. That's probably my least used of all the social media things. I for social media, for stream stuff, I usually go to Twitter, and I post pictures and stuff of like drone flying and that sort of thing on Instagram. But I don't know. I don't like Facebook. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that a lot.
Oh yeah. I made fun of Facebook with like just something or other. I forget what. It's easy to pick on them because they're so big.
Launch sequence complete.
No, down. There we go. Set her down now. There we go. Okay.
So Hannibal, what are you flying now?
I'm in the Aurora. I'm doing delivery missions right now.
Aurora can do delivery missions?
Yep.
Yeah, you can put a box behind the seat.
Oh, it's adorable. How do you get in holding the box, though?
You kind of have to just jump in with it in your hand. Complicated as it is, you can also throw a box in the passenger seat of an X85.
That's pretty funny. So,
like shuttling around.
The 300 series can do cargo runs, too. I found... if you don't put the landing gear down, you can put it down on its belly and just walk up onto the wing into the plane.
Oh, that's smart. And the new 300i is going to be amazing because it has that retractable cargo pod underneath it. It's cool.
Yeah.
And you can haul cargo, I think, in the Aurora because it has the.
It has one of those underslung boxes. They just haven't
Yeah.
implemented it yet.
Oh, okay, so
you can buy cargo to put in it, and it'll fill, but you can't load cargo in there yourself yet.
Oh, okay, but you can like on.
Are you
the
taking
cargo
some
road-
medical supplies back?
This is the fluorine half of the run.
Oh, okay.
We're at 157 right now. I'll do the medical supplies next. Yeah. There's a speaking of 300 series, just plopped on the landing pad here, so I'm trying to get out of here pretty quick. Since I'm solo running these runs. There we go. I kind of like the one or the fluorine half of the run because I can fill up my cargo without using all my money, so it's a lot less stressful on me if I mess up.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about a lot of these low value, high margin kind of items is that they max your ship pretty quickly, and then you can choose to take something more risque like medical supplies or something that won't fill your ship, but sometimes it's kind of nice to just make
A comfortable amount of money. Like I'm fully loaded here, and I have wrong F button.
Oh my
20K
God.
left. So it wouldn't be heart shattering if I died. Not that I want to die. Let's keep that in mind.
and
just-
that's enough money left over that if you did die, even with a max, you could fill up the Caterpillar with iodine and make 5K still. You're leaving enough.
Yep.
I'd love to get to a point where we're at the maximum of the cat, like where you're able to make that much money per run with the cat that you'll soon have enough money left over to do another run, and then then it just gets crazy.
That would be pretty cool. I'm also looking forward to like Org 2.0, where let's say Gallog, for instance, could take a small percentage of their org's transactions, kind of like a tax, but then you as an organization would be able to cover situations where Hannibal lost all of his cargo, and you're like, listen,
Like
man,
an org bank.
exactly, like WoW did.
That's
the
exactly
org
what it
banks.
is.
Yeah, that'll be really nice because I wouldn't mind 0.5% of my transactions going back to my org, because I'm only ever going to be in an org of people I trust.
Exactly.
And just having that, and if you just let that sit, it's like an investment. It'll become a large sum of money eventually.
Like an insurance plan.
Right to like we don't know what system Stig has in mind, but some of the tools that we had in mind that we're looking at implementing is pretty much a very basic blockchain. So we're not talking about mining or anything like that, but just a blockchain ledger. So like every transaction in it, requires the previous hash of the previous one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if I do the bank balance of Gallog as a ledger, so the only way you could ever really mess with it, you'd have to add a corrected audit
a log
to,
of it,
for
yeah.
it to work, right? Then anyone who's investing money, so the idea would be, let's say you're Phil and you have like 100K and you're not going to be playing the game this week, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You want to invest, like let's say 50K into the org. Well, you would go and make that request either through the website, app, or whatever process. Someone in the org would be like, oh, this guy wants to invest this. I have to go and physically make that transaction. So they'll go take the money, and put it in the guild bank. We don't know what banking system, but we can still track this player has this money for this purpose. And then when we're doing the operations, let's say it's 100K to fill the ship, we'll just use 25% of our cargo. We'll use his money, like the investor's money, and we'll do the run. And then everyone aboard the ship's going to make their cut. You know what I mean? That they normally would, but the investor themselves would make their own 25% of the the profit after expenditures. So they can kind of and the system will keep track of that, so they can kind of log in and check and see the growth of their own money. You know what I mean? And they can choose like what type of risks they want to take. You know, if you're just doing these little trade runs in UE space, then that's fine. And how I plan to do the system is we would only allow investments up to our own retained bank assets.
Mhm.
So that
it'd
way,
be financially backed.
yeah. So if something goes wrong, then we then we still pay them out, and make it so that way like there's only a 3 or 4 week investment time, so pretty much everything stays like kind of a zero sum ledger. So regardless of how well their money is doing, after 4 weeks it'll just send me an email, okay, we got to pay this person off. Now if they can choose right away then to reinvest, but you always kind of take care of it every so many weeks, you know what I mean? So we don't want to be hoarding everyone's money like a hedge fund. You know what I mean? or working like, I don't want to do banking in the sense of having to manage loans and shit like that, but we just have assets that we use specifically to make sure that we don't have empty ships,
Yeah. That's you just combined Star Citizen and blockchain, dude. Like, you twiddled so many bits right there. People are gonna be so psyched.
Yeah. And you brought up hedge fund.
Yeah, you did too. And I heard pyramid scheme. What?
Totally not a pyramid scheme. But you don't need a blockchain that functions like this massive peer-to-peer network, that type of thing. It's more just like a way of doing a secure ledger. So like Rav can't go, need to go take out 50K from a space hookers, you know what I mean? And like just over here,
expensive space hookers.
Where's Revere? Oh, he's over in some 890 jump somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, crying with like thousands, and make sure that make sure everything is fair and transparent, and to be able to build tools that are fair and transparent, right? Because the system is designed to not make money off of people. It's made to kind of, I don't know, it's a very kind of socialist platform, I guess you could say. Like, if you want to be greedy and you want to make more money through Gallog, you yourself just invest more money into the run. You take the risks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And if you're security and you want to do escorts, you would just join that operation. How much you're going to make is going to depend on profits of the run, right? And you're just paid, and everyone's paid, and you just choose accordingly whether you want to keep putting more money into it to make more money back, and that way it's not, no one's really feeding off of it, right? It's designed to create content. So to get 10 or 15 people together doing these large scale freight and being as fair as the game allows it to, so that way like escorts are being paid, they can accommodate their MO and all that crazy, whatever their fees are,
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see how much having escorts is going to eat into profits.
I think a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's going to balance itself out so that if you're a little guy, a freelancer running like some crazy high value illicit material, you individually are going to make a lot of money. But equally, this large whole operation that's requires 11 million just to buy the stuff and is making about 2 million off of it, by the time they pay out everyone, the individual cut is going to be equal, but the difference being the large scale cargo is offering more players the same style of gameplay, like it's facilitating more people than working as an individual. Right now, if you're a greedy org and you're just like, oh, we're going to hoard all the profits and we're going to use it for war, or whatever people's individual goals are, then it's all going to depend accordingly to how things are ran. But I also don't think people are going to want to do the same thing every single day. I don't think people are even going to want to do logistics or even cargo. People are going to want to jump into the game and see kind of what's happening. If someone's doing like some smuggling operation or someone's doing some exploration, you know what I mean, then they're going to go do that. I think that's a little bit of a fallacy a lot of orgs have, where like they're trying to build up crews for these massive capital ships, and it's like, oh, we need a gunner. Okay, cool, we have a gunner now. Yeah, he's going to be a gunner. Do you really think any one person's going to want to just be a gunner on one ship, belong to someone or belong to the org for a permanent amount of time? Nah, not really. You know what
Upward
I mean?
mobility is what everybody wants. They're willing to be a gunner if it means they can later be a navigator, and it means they can later be a
Exactly.
pilot. Oh man, yeah, that I think most of the gunner positions on the bigger ships are definitely going to be AI, and that
Yep,
people are
me
going to
too.
figure out that that's really expensive.
Yep. So it's gonna work out to be the same kind of concept where it's like, oh, we have this big ship, I'm gonna win, and then
Where?
they deck it all out with NPCs, and then
I'm gonna
suddenly
win. I'm gonna
it's
win.
like, I made 5 million, and I spent 5 million and change to
But
make
we
it.
had a good time.
Well, that's the main thing. But
Yeah. Sorry, Hannibal, were you saying something in there?
Yeah, I picked up. I'm on a.
Let's see here.
I can't find the destination where I'm supposed to drop this off. I picked up the
I
cargo.
hate those missions. It's so confusing sometimes.
Yeah, it's not coming up as normal. All right. Yep. Cargo's in the back. Let me see here. Contracts manager.
All right, we have a Avenger Titan here, being a little movie around. He's flying. Oh, there's the. Oh, he's trying to land on the landing pad. Silly Cooper. There's already a 300 on there. He's been on there for half an hour.
I wonder why. So when I go to YouTube and I look at Star Citizen,
Mhm.
they're not really sorted by who's watching. They're kind of randomly sorted. I wonder, is it by popularity or something?
Probably sponsored.
Oh, to the abandoned outpost on Yella. Okay.
It could be relevance. Relevance is a very easy metric to kind of like say, oh yeah, it's relevant right now. If it's relevance, it could be like current watching, how many people watched it in the past 24 hours, that sort of thing. Because there are some, like, if you look up Star Citizen, you'll get some videos from like 3.2, and you're like, oh, that's not very relevant these days.
Where
Oh.
is?
By the way,
There's-
I departed the last location at 10:46. I arrived at 1:57 at 10:51. So there's.
Where
some
would the
7 minutes.
abandoned outpost on Yella be? Because I cannot see it.
That sounds vague. By the way, successful medical supply sale there, Rav.
Nice. Actually, I don't see you here live at all on the list under Star Citizen. Why? There's only 4 people streaming it right now.
All right, let me get into the air and I will check it out.
Gentlemen, I think I found another bug.
The abandoned outpost.
Buzz!
Bugs.
Yeah, so I have the package in the Aurora, but because when you do the delivery, you know, the mission updates, and now you have to drop it off. It says still go to Tram and Myers Mining to pick up the cargo, unless there's multiple cargo in here. So
Oh, you know what? I think I had that happen too. Where you picked it up and it didn't register you picking it up.
yep. So what I'm gonna do is pick it up and drop it again. See if that'll work.
Sequence complete.
Rav,
Yo,
man, can I get the webpage that gives you the split thing again, man? The split of the cargo?
/trade.
Oh, so it's
Gallog.co/trade.
trade. Gotcha, man. Thanks, dude. See you later, Hannibal. See you, Phil. See you, Rav.
See you, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There.
That's weird. I just checked my stream listing and I should be listed as playing Star Citizen.
Yeah, you are. Like, I'm looking at the Star Citizen, you know, auto-generated by YouTube, like the main category, and it shows 4 people playing under my region. And then I go watch, I'm still on your stream, and it says Phil is playing YouTube Gaming, Star Citizen. Why would it not list? Maybe, does it only list people that are sponsored first? It's weird.
I don't know.
But if you click on the game, it just kind of shows 4 people.
Maybe I'm not using a tag somewhere right. So I am category gaming Star Citizen public, but I think there are hashtags somewhere on a setting I can set somewhere. So one thing, it is kind of hard to do. Oh, right. If I want to go to All-Star, I have to keep going.
Sorry, what was it? Slash what?
Trade.
Trade, yeah.
Trade. Right. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Don't worry, buddy. I have really bad memory, so I feel for you.
And I don't have it linked on the website because it crashes.
Well,
What's up, buddy?
yeah. So I picked it up, put it down. Bugs.
Bugs. Oh, come on. I need to go do an OM marker here first before I go to All-Star.
Should I abandon and do another? If I abandon this, if
you
I
don't get
abandon
docked
this,
anything.
and if I abandon it, will I still be able to do another delivery mission?
I don't think they restrict you from doing it.
Quantum travel engaged.
Crap, what were we talking about? I totally forgot. Oh yeah, me. YouTube. So yes, I can, like, when I go live, I can have like a default set of settings that kind of like go with me. And the problem is that because I do Star Citizen and I do Rocket League, I have to go find all those settings every time, which is a little rough.
It seems like there's only one guy. There's one guy with 70 people watching, and then there's a few people with one person.
Huh.
So that's really good exposure. I mean, if someone just goes like looks up Star Citizen and looks up live, having only 4 people in this time zone, that's awesome. One of them is Russian.
But I'm not one of those 4. It's awful.
It's gotta be something. I'm only like I'm analyzing this because I'm thinking like maybe doing some of this logistics stuff on YouTube might be a better idea than the crazy amount of Twitch.
Yeah, so one of my selfish reasons for going to YouTube, by the way, since we constantly keep coming back to that, I wanted to be Big Fish Little Pond instead of Little Fish Big Pond.
Yep.
That works a lot better with how I like to play things.
Yep, I think I think there's definitely an opportunity there to get more people into the game. People that seem to be on Twitch looking at Star Citizen already kind of know what it is. You know what I mean? But you probably have a higher chance of someone randomly coming across it on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like,
and if I make like highlight videos and stuff, and people sub to my channel and things, all of a sudden they start getting the live notifications and they're like, oh wow, this guy does live stuff too.
So how long did it take for you to get the /C fill to casual?
You need 100 subs.
Oh, okay.
So actually, that wasn't too bad.
Landing complete.
Oh my gosh, somebody is constantly shooting a gun here at All-Star.
Because I know there's I played around with multi-stream, like the tool for like broadcasting you to multiple, but I don't know what the legal ramifications are. I don't assume Twitch like streaming on YouTube.
So I can answer that for you perfectly. So since I was a Twitch affiliate, you basically don't have any restrictions until you become an affiliate. Then you sign a exclusivity agreement with Twitch. Anything you stream on Twitch, you cannot put on any other streaming service for 24 hours. So until then, you can stream out to both. But if you never decide to become a Twitch affiliate or a Twitch partner, there's not a restriction there.
No, I am an affiliate.
Oh, then yeah, you have the exclusivity agreement then.
So let me find that.
That doesn't seem right. We'll go with next. Alright. I need a grease roll. Oh, this noise is obnoxious. It's definitely an audio bug. Gotta get out of here. So right now, my current goal in YouTube is I need to get 4,000 hours watched on my channel in a 1-year period. Hey, somebody's walking off of my ship. That's kind of awkward. It looked like an NPC though, doing weird stuff. I need to get 4,000 hours watched. That's my current goal, because then I can become a Twitch or a YouTube partner. Yesterday, as a frame of reference, I got 24 hours watched, which is pretty good, I'd say, for not streaming Star Citizen too much. Oh my god, this is so loud. And I just took off like an idiot.
How does their exclusivity agreement work with some of these programs though that specifically say you can stream to Twitch and to YouTube and to this and to that?
It's only if you're an affiliate. If you're a no-name streamer, you can do both.
Please proceed to sign landing bay.
So remind me, you buy the fluorine at 157, right? You sell at Deacons? Because I'm at Olisar refueling and I need to go to the right place after this.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Maybe slash him, I'll be back.
Sure. Great.
Landing gear up.
I'm a little worried I have a stowaway. Oh, that might have been the Hornet's noise beside me. Get me away from this noise.
Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete.
Hannibal, didn't you say you had a cutlass?
Quantum travel engaged.
Everybody's got it.
Yes, sir, I do.
I'm just curious why you wouldn't use that instead of the Aurora for your trade missions.
Because I had to reclaim it. Because in that bug, game crashed when I was in the Cutlass, so I had to reclaim the Cutlass.
Gotcha. No worries, just was curious.
Wow, I think I know the reason why I couldn't jump to my destination, because the Aurora cannot jump over 100,000 kilometers, probably, possibly. I think it
It
was out of
does.
range.
I don't know about the range, but I know it will overheat and stop midway.
Because I wouldn't it wouldn't show up on my because I set destination and my quantum drive UI wouldn't come up.
If you go to the map, when you click your destination, it'll tell you how much fuel it will require and how much, on the top left, how much fuel you have. So usually if you don't have enough fuel, it will turn red and say not enough fuel, as opposed to just not showing up.
So what I'm doing is going to one comma ray, and then from that comma ray go to my destination.
Sounds like a fair plan.
Yeah. Instead of one shot, I'll do multiple shots.
Alright. There's my sail spot. Landing gear down. Coming in quick. Stop. Nose up. Gear down. Land. Good job, everybody. Just making money in the verse. Sell, please. Fluoride. Thank you. Fluorine, not fluoride.
Yeah, fluorine's a gas.
Yeah. It's always scary when I buy my entire wallet's worth of materials.
Is your ship still bugged where you can't close the back door?
Yeah. Well, I can't close it from the cockpit, and it's a real pain to close manually. So I just try to make it quick and not stay on the ground for very long. There's no other ships here per se. There could be people, I guess, but I think I'm safe for now. Hopefully. I always try to listen for any mechanical noises that happen while I'm getting on the ship to make sure there are no stowaways, and if I think there are stowaways, I do a full check of the ship before I get out of the free flight zone. Alright. Now time to go to ArcCorp. So, a full wallet of fluoride fills up my entire cargo hold. A full wallet of medical supplies doesn't even fill up the first row of my cargo. It's so expensive. How much are they selling the Freelancer Maxes for?
I'm not sure.
Follow-up question. Freelancer max cargo capacity versus Constellation Taurus cargo capacity. I wonder what that is. Rav would know since he's done all the numbers on him.
Quantum travel engaged.
If Star Citizen weren't such a pain to alt-tab out of, I would. It really jacks up the ordering of my screens when I do. Oh, landing in the dark, huh?
Quantum travel complete.
So many people playing Star Citizen.
Hey, man. It's a good day to play.
What would make Let's Encrypt, obviously, other than its nature, less secure than a regular SSL cert?
You would?
No, what would? Like, for
Oh, what
example, I wrote a bot that pulls images from my website for Discord. So, like, it kind of, generates trade routes and stuff like that and puts them in the Discord. But I want it to use the PHP GD library to kind of like actually make it an image. You know what I mean? And I can attach it to the Discord post as an image, and it would be super cool. Like,
Yeah.
almost like the ship info stuff. Well, if I upload the ships, for example, for ship info to Imgur, and I make my bot, embed them from Imgur, it works perfect. If I try to embed them from my own site, they won't embed. And the only thing I can see that would stop it is the fact that I'm using a Let's Encrypt SSL cert, which is like the free open source kind of, SSL certificate.
Yeah.
Versus a real one. But I don't really believe in paying $120 for, you know what I mean, for some VeriSign SSL cert.
Yeah. Yeah, those certs are... nothing should make it less... I mean, I think most people are moving to Let's Encrypt.
Yeah,
in services like that. There's no reason to pay $120 for something that's free.
Right. It was kind of a Ponzi scheme in the beginning, like, if you don't have a certificate signed by this one or, by these 20 companies, it's not real, right? Warning, warning, warning,
Yeah.
It makes sense, so that someone doesn't issue a false one. But yeah, no, it's just weird. And now that I've rebuilt Gallog on the new virtual machine, I have it now set to enforce HTTPS.
Yeah.
And even my now my Python bot is just not like getting requests from it. Makes no sense. Like I could
maybe there's a oh geez. Is it in the authorities chain for that your Python bot? Like, so I think you might have to add Let's Encrypt to a certificate authority.
I wonder, can I make the bot? Is there a way I can just download the cert or something like that, or like have the Python?
You could check locally if you had like if you had the key.
Alternatively, because the bot is running on the same computer, like maybe because I'm not going over the web, I'm just hitting 192.168.10.5, for example, like /API. Maybe the SSL cert's not working because it's like a local request.
Could be. It may not be encrypting it over the ether or over the LAN.
That could. I wonder, could I?
Can you? You're doing an IP address. Can you put HTTPS in front of that to make sure you're saying, "Hey, listen, use web protocols, go over the Ethernet, and do this." By the way, Rav, I've had no problem selling the medical supplies today.
Excellent.
Side note, yesterday I started with 27,000 UEC, and right now I have 62.
Well played, sir.
Thank you. The freelancer is solid. I'm
Yeah.
getting no bugs with it. It's not crashable like
All right, I'm
some of the
leaving here
larger
at
ships.
3:15. Okay. Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. We also know you're leaving at 3:15. So, ha. Do.
Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, you're gonna do it.
Can you guys still hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Copy that. Loud and clear. Actually, I could adjust my volume. I was a little loud.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's okay. No, it's on my end.
This gate is amazing. Do you guys hear the crazy washer in the back?
No, but your tail end of your sentence is being cut off a little bit. You may need to
Oh,
increase
okay.
the
release?
cutoff. The release, yes, that's the one. So,
So
I'm
I'm doing
always
a 1
frustrated.
second release.
okay, yeah.
How's that?
Say a couple
That's,
short
that's pretty
things.
good. How's it going? Test it.
The second test cut out there.
The second test.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, it happened. That's the only time I heard it cut out, though. How are
Okay,
you?
cool.
How are you putting the VACs on your input for Discord? Because I have VACs set up in OBS for my stream output, and I think it works pretty well. And I'd love to have the same applied to my normal Discord or my normal mic input.
I'm using Jack, so my streaming rate is based, and I actually am running the Jack audio connection kit. And oh man, if you could see what it can do! So like in OBS, it's open source, and you know it's for Linux. In OBS, you can add a Jack source. So there's a program called Claudia, and Claudia does like almost like, you know, when you're doing project management, you see nodes, like node connections, like that type of thing. It's like an interface for Jack for nodes. So you go and you create a new studio, and you get this big, huge canvas, and all of your inputs and outputs appear there. So on Linux, you have Pulse Audio, which is your main audio server. KX Studio is the distribution. And I'm using repos from KX Studio, but KX Studio is the distribution for doing audio production.
Okay.
So you pretty much, there's a tool that comes with it that sets up Pulse Audio for you, so you don't need to do anything. It literally asks you, do you want to install a real-time kernel for the sake of audio? Sure. Do you want to install a bunch of other tools? You go ahead, you say yes to it. It starts. In that configuration, there's an option to start Pulse Audio with the Jack plugin, and then it starts Jack. So you get this canvas where you have Pulse Audio connected to Jack as an input, then you have Pulse Audio as an output connected to the Jack sync, and then you can start adding things. So when you go in the OBS and you add a Jack input, in Carla, a little jack appears, like another little OBS appears. And then I created another one actually for VLC player, and another one appears.
Mhm.
And then I can actually start connecting the nodes. So I can take my input, go into a side chained gate, which is for a mono gate, which is what I'm using now, which has all of these crazy controls. I'll send you a screenshot in a second. And then I come out of that and I go into a visualizer, which shows me the bars. And I also connect it into OBS, into my input. And I also connect it to my playback so I can hear it. And I can actually make all these connections. So I can even run VLC, and then VLC appears as a little application, and I can connect that into the stream, but also connect it to my monitor. And so you can actually design your scene. So let me actually send you. Yeah, I'll put it in there.
I will
What
check
this
your picture
looks like.
once I complete this half of the round here.
Yep.
Since I'm always paranoid about the expensive half.
Launch sequence complete. Landing gear up.
Take me to space. All right, let's set our destination. And Alt tab real quick to look at.
I'm gonna run OBS. Okay, so I have OBS running now.
Also, what mic are you using?
It's an Audio Technica AT2020.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you how this all routes. You'll see that there's a jack mic for OBS. So let me show you how this kind of looks.
Guys, I'm going AFK for a second.
Sure, man.
Get more coffee.
So entire screen. Okay. Go. I was actually thinking about it. It'd be a lot of work. Could hang on. It's not showing me queuing. Am I queuing right now?
Queuing?
Like, okay. For some reason, sometimes Discord doesn't show that I'm lighting up, even though I am.
Oh, I see you lighting up.
Okay, good. So let's just put this in Zoom. Oh, apparently it doesn't. Oh! I just figured out what's crashing my KVM application.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Quantum travel complete.
Okay, so I'm using a program called Barrier, which is of the old Synergy.
Right. Yep.
If you remember Synergy, Barrier is now the new open source project because Synergy 2 costs money. Barrier is fantastic, but it has an option of shared clipboard. And I realized when I'm copying my screenshots to the clipboard to paste in the Discord, it's filling up that memory address. So that when I'm moving back and forth from the system, it's crashing the client on the streaming rig. So I really need to turn off that clipboard sharing across multiples of them.
Yeah, but clipboard sharing is pretty nice to have.
I know. So or just not.
Not do big
Don't because-
bitmaps.
Yeah.
Maybe make it a JPEG first.
Should have saved. Where is it? No, my screenshot. You were the chosen one.
So I have OBS on a Linux computer, and it seemed like it had reduced functionality for browser plugins, like Twitch alerts and things like that.
Got a solution for you. Yeah, let me buffer. Okay. Okay. Top. Okay. There we go. Save it.
So are you recording your video on a Windows machine, then outputting it to your Streambox?
Nope.
And then that's
I'm
typing
using
it out to... Go ahead.
I'm using an NDI.
NDI. I don't recognize... I don't remember
I'll explain that too here.
Okay.
Oh, wait one second. You don't actually need a streaming capture card anymore. NDI is by I don't remember the name of them. You can Google NDI, but they are pretty much the standard of esports broadcast software.
Sure.
So they build hardware appliances. So the idea with NDI is you go ahead and you install the NDI plugin on OBS and run it on the streaming rig. You don't create any scenes, just one scene, which would be your game or your desktop.
Mhm.
You enable it. It's a self-healing protocol. So you just enable it, give it a name. Then on the streaming rig, you add the NDI plugin, you add an NDI sync, and you just in the drop-down list you'll see your computer, and pretty much your video will be decoded on your gaming rig and sent across to the streaming rig, and you'll lose around 1.2 to 3% CPU utilization on the gaming rig to do that.
Mhm.
But holy shit, is it good! It is so good that I was running the laptop off wireless AC, and I was sending the broadcast from my girlfriend's laptop over to my streaming rig. Flawless. There's no lag. There's no latency. It's truly amazing.
That's pretty crazy.
And what's cool about it is it can do up to 4K depending on your bandwidth. They recommend, if you're going to set up something permanent, to maybe do an internal network, or maybe like have an extra network card in your gaming rig, and you know what I mean, like just do a direct connection to the streaming rig so you have a gigabit. So in the industry, they build these massive panels and machines for doing broadcasts. So if you're at BlizzCon and you have all these players, they don't all have capture cards. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
They all have pretty much. They're not using OBS with the NDI plugin. They're actually using an NDI source feeder. It's like their own program. You know what I mean? Like their own solution, which is sending it over the network, and then they're receiving it with their own software. But you can use the plugin to do the same thing. But they also make hardware appliances that will take an HDMI input and directly encode its own tag and Ethernet on the other side with PoE. So pretty much like when you're at like gaming, when they're doing gaming, conferences, they're pretty much doing duplicate output, you know what I mean, on the gaming rig, one to the monitor, one directly coming out of HDMI directly into one of these little tiny devices, which have a network cable, which are feeding the data into their own machine for broadcast.
Yep.
So there's a few issues with it. One is there is like milliseconds of lag, which you would expect because you're decoding it and, you know what I mean, bringing it over the network. Yep. So as I'm moving around my mouse, let's say in Counter-Strike, I would see my other Counter-Strike window slowly catching up to myself. It almost reminds me of the lag of head tracking in Star Citizen. Just that little tiny bit. And you can overcome some of it actually by when you go into your audio source in the gaming rig's OBS, you can right-click on the audio source, add a filter, and there's another filter called NDI dedicated audio. So what that'll do is over the same protocol, do the audio separate from the actual video source. So then you don't have a video, you don't have your main NDI output then encoding both video and audio. They're being both done separately. And then you go into your streaming rig, you add NDI again, two of them, one for your audio, one for your video, and you're generally good. So if you've watched any of my streams at 720p 60, they're all done over NDI. It's funny because I have a $350 C Media box for capture. It's like the Chinese knockoff of what the AverMedia used and Razer used for their Razer. Trying to think of the name of their product, but it's the exact same board with the same chip on it. So it does 1080p 60. I think this one's by StarTech. So I have that for doing HDMI input consoles. It's pretty much a really good capture card.
I have one of the Elgato ones.
Yep, like the HD60 and the HD the Pro, right? It's and I've depreciated it. I don't need it. You know what I mean? Because the biggest issue I had with Linux, my only issue I had with Linux is I didn't have driver support for the C Media chips. So that was my main issue. But because I can use NDI, that goes away. So now I have all of the features of Linux, all the power of Linux, you know what I mean, like as a streaming rig, that can be ran kind of headless with the NVIDIA card to do the NVENC encoding. With like my own Linux experience, I can do more with this rig now. So so the OBS version didn't have really good web viewing support. I think someone made a Linux-browser project for doing it, but recently someone has created a Qt WebKit port for OBS, which I've installed, and you can even download. I think I'm actually kind of being lazy. I think I just downloaded the binary version and literally just put those library files into the OBS folder, like user lib OBS plugins. I just dropped it in there, precompiled binary, and it works great. So it gives you a later version of Kit as a overlay support. It's the same thing. It's exactly visually. It's the same as the Windows version, where you add like a browser. It comes up with the OBS project first, and you go change it to whatever you want.
Mhm.
But it uses very little CPU, like extremely little CPU. So I'm using all the Gallog overlays with it. But by default, like your default experience on Linux with OBS is you don't get any encoding because you got to install the FFmpeg with NVENC support.
Yep.
But see, the beauty is people are writing scripts like crazy. Like people, like there's a script that I posted in general many like weeks ago. You run one script that automatically downloads all the repos, installs like FFmpeg full, recompiles OBS from source. Like people are working on it. You know what I mean? Like to make it easier. And there's even some really great flat packs for OBS. But the problem with the flat packs is when you're installing the plugins, you got to kind of install them into the flat pack. You know what I mean? Like it's, it's a bit of a hack. But if I was a new person, I would never recommend like doing what I'm doing with Linux. But if you get into it, you get the power of all of Linux's audio tools. You know what I mean? And like, for example, in the screenshot, I have a rack running this sidechain monogate. If I go add, there are 5,000 things I can add. I don't even know. Like, I started adding all these different projects.
I might need this. Oh, who knows if I need this? Oh, wait, this looks fun.
And it gets even crazier. So the guide for this installs Wine RT, which is a real-time compiled version of Wine. Mm-hmm. And like I haven't gone through that whole process yet, but then you can install Linux-based VSTs or Windows-based VSTs. So then you can install stuff like Reaper and Serum and stuff that like deadmau5 uses. You know what I mean? You can go crazy with it then. You know what I mean? Then you get Windows-based VSTs and Linux-based VSTs, and then you can kind of, I'm sure there's no problem for me to add like a Darth Vader voice, all these effects. And what's even cooler, I don't have a MIDI controller right now. It's all upstairs because I do a lot of audio stuff too. This is where some of this experience comes in because I have like a harp and like 3 classical guitars and
cool.
Like I have my Roland and like all of my audio gear started not because I wanted to stream, was I wanted to get a mixer for my piano and my like all that stuff. So you can take a MIDI controller, any random MIDI controller. Like I'd recommend maybe like a launch pad, like one of the ones with all the pads on them and dials and all that crazy stuff. And then you can use it as a MIDI source in Jack, and it can trigger events. So like if you click on the screenshot, I don't have one visible, but see underneath in the screenshot under Carla, which is where the mono gate is, there's a little red line and it's a MIDI input. You can attach a MIDI input as a control. So like if I had a MIDI controller that had a dial, that could control like one of the levels on this VST or many of them. Or, I can have a MIDI controller with a whole bunch of pads, and each one of those pads could trigger something in this audio solution. You know what I mean? It could be anything, turning off something, routing something from here to here, turning off this, turning on that, whatever. The sky is the limit.
Huh.
It's really, really, really cool, but it's taken me a long time to get to where I am right now. Where I'd be able to, I could explain to someone else how to quickly install Mint and install the repos, and then they're up and running. But the self-discovery of that took me weeks.
Yeah, getting it all set up is definitely.
I'm back, guys. Sorry about that.
Is definitely like just getting like a system that works with your system and something you can wrap your head around as like this is something I would use. Like I see so many other streamers who are like, I saw this other streamer do this crazy thing, I'm gonna do that too, and then they just never actually, they spend so much time setting it up and then never use it in their stream. because it's not
Exactly.
something they're actually like. They're just trying to copy as opposed to something they would do.
And for me, this is a fight. Like I have 5 kids, and they're screaming, right? And they're arguing and doing what they do. Like I went from a headset to an original Snowball to a Snowball Pro to another Yeti. Like I have been buying microphones trying to get rid of the kids. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
I spent $500 on this.
A
and I
microphone won't
knew
get rid of kids, but VATs will.
right, there had to be solutions for this, right? So one of the solutions that I haven't entertained was buying like a Rode shotgun mic, but then I'd sound very tinny. Like it would like point at me, and this would be the sound space that it can hear, and that's it. But that's kind of overkill, and you're taking away so much from the environment. Then you know what I mean? Like using a shotgun mic versus a cardioid, and this is why I put all this time into it, because there's a goal of that, and there's a secondary goal is I want to have one computer that's in my house that's running Linux, that's running all of my servers and all my projects and all my development stuff. And I'm familiar with virtualization because I use it at work. I use KVM at work for like hardware controller isolation and network cards and like trying to run a school off of nothing. You know what I mean? Like no budget, right? Like squeezing everything out of one box, right? Like it's kind of like what I have to do. And I'm sitting here and I'm surrounded by like 5 computers, and I'm like, there's a Windows machine, an old Dell that's running my OBS because it was Windows only. I needed to have Windows, the capture card, so it's running Windows 7 Pro. I'm like turning it on when I'm streaming, and then there's the home server, which is an old like Athlon running like all my dev VMs for like Gallog and stuff. And yeah, it's just I get by with very little. And then there's my gaming rig and like all these other shit. That's all just running, and I'm just thinking I should be able to build one Linux-based system that could do all this. I got to be able to. Because back in the day when I had my 7950, I had a Haswell V3 Xeon. It was the 1725 or 1750, something like that. I'm trying to think of the name of it now. 23, 27. No, can't remember it. But it's the equivalent of the 4770 9K, and I bought it because I wanted virtualization support. And I built back at the time Windows 8.1 virtual machine. I gave it my my 7950, and I had the integrated onboard video for Linux. So I gave it a USB 3 controller because I left the USB 2 controller with Linux, and pretty much at the time I gave it 6 gigs of RAM, and I left 2 gigs for my 2 web servers I was running at the house. Then my little tiny ITX build was actually running Debian with 2 virtual machines, but it was also my gaming rig. So I had my video card, USB 3, Windows 8.1, and a dedicated monitor for it, and it was extremely stable. The problem that I had with it, because my goal was complete isolation, everything down to one piece of hardware. I was playing The Sims 4, and it wouldn't run. Like it just would not run. The Sims 4 would not run. Couldn't figure it out. There was no reason for it to not work. And when I finally dual booted back into a native install on the same hardware, it worked perfect. So there was something about being, Windows being inside a VM with their DRM protection that EA was using, that just wouldn't let it run. It kind of knew it was in a virtual machine.
Okay.
I mean, Windows does know it's in a virtual machine. If you bring up the control panel, it actually shows that it's being virtualized, right? So Star Citizen, a lot of the games that I was running at the time ran perfect as a VM with a dedicated video card. But there were like political reasons for things not working, if that even makes sense, right? Like just DRM protections being like, oh, this is a VM, we can't trust that, we're not going to let this product run.
Well, a lot of DRM works by taking basically a hash of all your hardware and creating an ID out of it.
True, right. So I think kind of what was happening, well, I ended up eventually, it kind of really pissed me off, because like I had bought this system for the sake of doing this. I wanted to have a little ITX build.
Yep.
Right, that kind of. I even bought a gigabyte board that had 2 dual NICs, so I could give it one NIC, like a Realtek NIC for the main box, and then the Pro Intel NIC for the actual Windows box, and like everything. It was a good idea. It was a pretty expensive build, And ultimately, it just kind of failed. So my new Ryzen build that I'm using now, the 1700, I was going to try to do the same thing with, but I decided not to, because I even playing Star Citizen on the thing. If I'm running OBS and Star Citizen, it still
Landing
slows the game
complete.
down a little bit,
Have a
even with the
pleasant
encoding. So I'm like, I really need a streaming rig for what I'd like to do.
Yeah, I'm surprised that. So when you were saying you were piping everything over the Ethernet, I tried to do a stream box sort of thing. I have a side server machine, and I got nailed on my old processor because of the overhead with the packets on the network
Warning,
transaction.
you are blocking an active flight lane.
Um,
Please vacate the
my
facility.
NIC was pegging my processor.
So you might have been using
Initiating ship
for
storage
NDI
procedure.
the
For your safety,
protocol.
please vacate
I'm trying to
the
think of
area.
what it was called,
Thank you for your
which is a
cooperation.
lot slower. OBS network.
Because what I did was I used OBS on my stream machine with NVEnc, and then would just send that stream out to another computer, just like I would send it to YouTube or Twitch.
Oh, okay, I
Initiating
gotcha.
ship
You're
storage
pulling right,
procedure.
right.
Please
So that
vacate
yeah,
the
I can
area.
see why that.
Thank you for your
Because
cooperation.
I gotta say the NDI protocol itself is specifically designed for low latency.
Gotcha.
It's like,
So I
so it's not like we're encoding it and we're like streaming it to Twitch. It's kind of like just running in the background, taking your source and then pretty much encapsulating it and then sending it across.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's burning 3% CPU just to encode it, and then like a little bit more on the stream rig side to decode it, but it's pretty quick.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what it can do. I find it crazy. So if you're on a wireless AC link and your connection goes to shit, you can watch. I could watch my girlfriend's feed become more pixelated and become more compressed, but not really die. You know what I mean? Like
It was down resonant, yeah.
yeah, the self-healing
compressing it.
aspect of it.
That's great. Man. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap things up here for lunch. By the way, my metric here is I started yesterday with 27K. We ended today at 71,000 UEC. That's pretty good for just the freelancer max doing these trade runs.
Yep.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's more money than I've ever had in Star Citizen, I'm pretty sure.
I just post in general like what these guys use to truly
Cool, I'll go through that, definitely.
why they don't care about call off being free, because they're making the money off the hardware. You know what I mean? They're making money off of the integration of the protocol.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like what the this would be the high end what Blizzard or CitizenCon or something like that would use to take all of that footage and kind of switch between.
All right, yeah, I'll definitely go through that because that's something I'd love to, I built a beefy stream PC so that I could just do it all on one rig, but the dream is having your gaming PC just be for gaming,
Yep. Well, some of the features too, like as a web developer, certainly share, because I think it's going to give me a little bit of an edge. So I'm building an overlay system for OBS, which requires me right now to run separately. Like realistically, I'm running a separate browser, full screen with a green background. So that's kind of the premise of it.
Yep.
Then then the overlay system is running jQuery and JavaScript to connect back to an API, so it knows what it needs. So it's looking for what's the new thing that I need to display, right?
Yep.
But then I'm using 3 JavaScript, which is a 3D JavaScript library, the same one I'm using for the star map and all of that stuff to pull in stuff and render it. So even though I'm right now just displaying a few overlays of ships and all that kind of stuff, eventually I'm going to move more into the 3D space. So like eventually what I want to have for myself, all of my overlays that exist, including even my webcam, because you could even take your webcam, the browser itself on the streaming rig gain access to your webcam and then render the webcam as a texture. So I even would like the webcam to be in this overlay system, to be completely 3D. And it might be a little bit overkill, but think of what you can then do with it. You can animate anything that's in your scene as a 3-dimensional object. You can flick things off, flick things on the back end side of things, because if it's just connecting to an overlay, the website, which can connect to the same database, can then be a controller. You know what I mean? We can go and add effects and that kind of stuff. That's what I kind of want to build. It started off as a test. I mean, can I actually do what Streamlabs is doing myself? You know what I mean? Like, and the answer is yeah, you can, because all they're doing is running a bot connecting to Twitch, looking for oh, your follower list just grew by one person. Oh, you have a new follower. Let me go and generate a web, a green website with that new alert. Play this animation, play this effect. Is to start doing some of that myself, because then, especially as I'm tying it into Gallog. So what my personal goal is to be able to sit in the cockpit, of my freelancer, start streaming, and be able to communicate to the viewers the routes that I'm running and where I am and the chips and all the information that they'll need, but without having to take myself away from the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They kind of be able to kind of just trigger it, right? Trigger it all through action, right?
Yeah. That sounds great.
But,
I mean, how are you an expert at so many things? You've mentioned
Um,
so many different technologies that are they're all kind of related to gaming and streaming, but these are deep dives, dude. Like, your specific knowledge
Jack
is
of all
great.
trades, master of nothing. It's because I'm an IT guy for school, dude. Schools are weird because, like, when you work in K to 12 and you're like the only IT director, no one's going to help you, and you'll be doing everything from managing all the virtual machines down to phone systems and running cable across the building on a Sunday night to everything, right? It's all on you. You either have to figure it out or you're fucked. So you tend to, and earlier I was only working 3 hours a day at the school, like as a consultant. So like all of my time is spent thinking about ways to automate everything that I do. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it. So like, how do I write scripts to automate, like batch, all these students and import them in the Google Docs, or, put them in the Google, at the admin panel, and like all of my developer experience comes from scripting. You know what I mean? Like, I need to write a program that does this thing. Okay, whatever language I need to learn, whatever libraries are going to facilitate that, I'll be willing to learn that language. You know what I mean? I just try to. I don't really learn one programming language. I'm just kind of like, I want to master that. I kind of approach it from, I need to accomplish this thing, and then I start looking at like different libraries. Oh, there's a Python library that does that. Well, how hard is Python? It doesn't look that bad. It's very like, semantic. Everything has to be typed. Everything has to be typed in a certain way. Well, like, how many lines of code would it take to get this thing working? And it's like, okay, like 10 lines of code with this library, and you can do the basics. So then you kind of just start tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and referencing the Python documentation of standards. So like, okay, hey, type this, and then it's kind of like, as fast as you can build the solution, even if the solution is garbage, because security doesn't really matter that too much when you're inside the building just trying to get a task done, where it's kind of like whatever it takes to do it, and you do it, and then it's done, delete the script.
Sure, I
Sure.
get you.
And that's where it kind of comes from. It's this, like, having no budget, no money. I give you the analogy. Let's say you're poor and you have like nothing, like, in a very small environment, and actually this is very similar. So when I grew up, I had no money, so I finally saved up enough to buy like this Pentium 90, which is this old school 800 megabyte hard drive. I think it was like a 400 megabyte drive compressed. And man, like, I installed Visual Basic like 5 on it, and like Visual C++ 5, like, and it would take forever to compile stuff. But like, because you don't have like the tools to just go in and bam, streaming rig, or bam, gaming rig, you tinker. You know what I mean? You try to make a solution. You try to you work with what you got, and what you end up doing is wasting a ton of time, but learning 1,000 ways to try to get to a same solution, or a similar thing. You're like Mexicans trying to build like a car. You know what I mean? Like, right? Like,
yeah. No, you use what you have. If you have time, you spend time. If you have money, you spend money, and that's really what it boils down to.
Yep. And time, for the most.
Yeah, time. Lots of time.
Spend the time to save the time. And that's where a lot of it comes from, is just that. Like, when I was running my old guild, I started building all of the web tools to facilitate the scheduling, because I knew that was going to be a problem. We were going to have a problem too, 24-man teams.
Yep.
When people can't make it, So we just put all of our time into building a calendar that accepts multiple classes and kind of locks everybody, sockets people in. And it was terrible, PHP 4, no security, you know what I mean? Like, because not like it really mattered if it was compromised, but it was just create the solution, right?
Yep.
And then work on securing it maybe later on.
Yeah.
Some people like
Prototype.
overthink. Yeah, because some people overthink development and they're kind of sitting down. They're really stressed with the standards of things. And of course, if you're working in security, obviously, yeah, there's tons of them. But sometimes you got to like just look at the solution of what you're trying to create and just kind of
37,000.
don't second guess yourself. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're going to spend all this time trying to make sure this is coded right and this is, this.
This is my first time going to Loreville, guys.
Hey,
Sorry for
congrats.
interrupting.
No worries. I actually do have to run and cook lunch. My wife is looking very hungry over there. So I will
Alright.
talk to you guys later. And Rav, thanks as always for all the tools that you're making, as you were just describing. They are very useful. I did put a link to Gallog in the video description for the stream. Hopefully people click on it and see what nice stuff you're making.
You hope there's a.
All right. I will talk to you guys later.
Have a good afternoon, Phil.
You too.
Bye.